Well, I got into motorsport through karting, and I did a couple of years in karting, won the South African Championships in the 50cc cadet class, and from then on I swapped over to bikes, and I started going overseas when I was 12 years old already, and from there just built on, and every year got a little bit better and tried to move up the ranks. And this year winning the Moto3 World Championship is one box we have ticked, so now the next step's Moto2. I don't like Europe, honestly. It's not my favorite place on earth, but unfortunately to race bikes, it was tough when I had to move to Europe at the beginning, but it's one of those things you kind of get used to. I'd say at the beginning it was really tough, but the more time I've spent there, the more easier it's become. Going into Moto2, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough. Everybody that goes from Moto3 to Moto2 really struggles at the beginning. But the main thing you need to keep in mind is that nothing happens overnight. So my goal is just to build into it, and as we go along, I want to improve every single race. If I start off in 20th position, I've got a lot more work to do. If I come 10th in the first race, all right, we're a bit closer to where I want to be. Well, you've got to adjust quite a lot as you go up the categories. One thing to keep in mind is my bike I ride now weighs 80 kilograms. My Moto2 bike close to 150 kilos. So to try to throw that around is really, really tough, and it makes a huge difference. It's so difficult to adapt, and to try and adapt, all you need to do is laps, and unfortunately to do a whole lot of laps, it takes quite a bit of time. For me, it's always important to have the correct people around you, for sure. I've had trainers, I've had different people dietitians, more or less. But I like to do my own thing. I've learned a lot from all the trainers and the people I've had around me, as far as my physical side goes, and I've made my own program that works for me. I'm not a big fan of getting told what to do. So in that respect, it's a bit different. But as far as it is in the box, that's where it's really important to have great people around you. This year I had the most incredible team behind me I could ever have asked for. In the box, we have such a great working relationship between my team and I, and it's actually a bit sad that I can't take them all with next year. I broke my arm at the last day, on the last day of testing. Unfortunately, I had a little crash, and the bike flicked over a couple of times and I wanted to land on my arm. So it's not great, but if I had to choose a time to break my arm, now is the perfect time, because I have 2 months off. I think being a MotoGP rider, you have access to maybe some different things compared to normal people. Like I went to a sports hospital and I've got a program to get my arm better as soon as the cast comes off. So in that way, I think it's definitely an advantage. But at the end of the day, the bone's still got to heal on, and it takes the same time. The thing is, the biggest difference, if you look at our top riders in South Africa, the competition is the same, more or less. Well, you see, if there's you look at the top 2-3 guys in South Africa, and then you take them overseas, there's 20 guys on the same level. Well, maybe not same level, but there's a lot more people and it's a lot closer racing, And you go overseas and things are, all of a sudden, you're used to being racing out front, fighting 1 or 2 people, and all of a sudden you've got 20 other guys to deal with. And it's a big change, it's a big learning curve, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things you just need to adapt to, and it becomes easier and easier every time you go on track. One of the best ways for a rider to get recognized overseas is to get into the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Well, the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup is, especially for South African, is an incredible way to try and become a MotoGP rider. Because what it does is it gives you it gives you the opportunity to really get onto the world stage and get noticed and seen. With you racing on the same day as all the big boys, things are really, it's pretty special. And I mean, for me, it was definitely the turning point. And I was so fortunate to have got into the Rookies Cup.